topics question. Well, it's not really a question. Let me show you what I have. So it is it's spring and there are beautiful wildflowers. I actually wanted to pick wildflowers, but it's raining here in Oregon. It's cold. So instead, I have this little poster or wall decoration. And it says advice from a wildflower. There are actually 7 bits of advice, and I have 7 numbers. So choose a number from 1 to 7, and I will read the advice from a wildflower. Pretend you're the wildflower and talk about that advice as if you were giving advice based on the statement. So give me a number from 1 to 7.
Let's go with number 5.
Okay, number 5. And number 5, ooh, I think you will like this, William. Number 5 says, spread seeds of joy. Spread seeds of joy.
Madam Table Topics Master, the fellow Toastmasters and future Toastmasters, spread the seed of joy. That reminds me, I have a niece, her name is Sabrina. She is my joy, and she's my light. Every time I see her, I just light up. When I feel like I can't go on, just when I feel like I just can't go on, I get a call, and it's her. And whatever's bothering me just flows from my shoulders, and just I can deal with anything. She's my seed of joy. She helps me through the darkest of times. When I feel I can't go on, I just think about her, and I get the strength, I get the energy, I get the passion to go on and to do many things. In fact, it's just this weekend, I had lost a friend, and when I was feeling so sad, my niece, Sabrina, called me and cheered me up. When nobody else could cheer me up. Everybody else tried, and I yell at them. I tell them, get away from me. I don't feel like being bothered. But she just looks at me, or I just hear her voice, and it's like flowers spring up in my heart. And I just feel with love, joy, compassion, and happiness. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you. That's beautiful. And I was listening and I was saying, William's going to use the word of the day very soon because it's just perfect for that. It's curtain rod.
Yeah, it was. I didn't think about that.
Right. So let's have George. George, are you still on from Oregon? And I don't know how it is up there, but it's cold down here in Sutherland. George, are you on? Can you come on screen?
Yes, let me take a look and see if I can learn to operate my equipment here.
You were on camera a while ago, so
I know. Yeah, all I have to do is find this button. How am I doing now?
Perfect. I see it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the number 5 is taken, but you have anywhere from number 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. Which number would you like?
Well, let's try number 3.
Okay, we'll have number 3. Ooh. Number 3 is celebrate your natural beauty. Celebrate your natural beauty. That's the advice from the wildflower. Talk to us about celebrate your natural beauty. George.
Well, thank you very much, Madam Table Topics, for a wonderful topic. You know, I worked at the University of Oregon for many years, and as someone else mentioned, it's very wet here. I only have one thing that I left after I left in December when I retired, and that's my friend from the university here that is still with me. And it's one of the most beautiful things. And that relates back to the story of the wildflower. You know, the wildflowers go through a very, very tough and cold winter up in here in Oregon. The winds are blowing, the rains are blowing, and many people almost give up that we'll ever see the sun again. And right now in Oregon, if you live here, they've been going on the news and talking about this is such an extraordinary year of rain that there's never been more days of rain and more volume of rain than we've had in this last year. So it's an amazing time. But the wildflower is still waiting patiently. And as the clouds break, those first gentle rays of the sun come in, and all of us who've been inside with our friends waiting for the sun to appear start to get excited. We start thinking, oh, there's a sunbeam. There's a sunbeam. Sooner or later, the rains will stop and the summer will be with us. And slowly, as the months go on, we just keep hoping. Well, now things are actually starting to happen. We're actually having beautiful little blossoms popping up in our yards and beginning to think, thank heavens, another wonderful Oregon summer is coming. So thank you very much, Mrs. Table Topics Master, for that great table topic.
Thank you, George. And thank you for reminding me that I'm not alone in Oregon. Okay, brilliant. I know it's a totally different climate where you are. So you have either number 1, 2, where am I? 1, 2, 4, 6, or 7. Which one would you like?
Okay, before I pick the number, what is the word of the day?
The word of the day is thankful. He obviously is planning. Okay.
Thank you. I'll pick 4.
4. Okay, so I'm figuring out. That was really well planned. Okay, 4. 4 is open up. So the advice of the wildflower, number 4 advice is open up. Welcome, brilliant.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Witty Online Storytellers guests. Last week, I was speaking to a friend, and as the conversation engaged into deeper levels of sharing, I heard her cry. And I realized that for the last 15 years, I have never seen her cry. She was bottled up. There were so many challenges that she was facing that it was impossible to believe that she had so much pain that she had gone through. And it made me realize, quite often in life, because of the facade that we have, the masks that we wear, we fail to open up, to open our hearts, to share our feelings, to let people know that I need help. It's important, my dear friends, to remember it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter who you are. Your gender doesn't matter. Your age doesn't matter. Your location, your religion, nothing matters. If you can have one friend who you can be thankful to be a part of your life, I'm sure we all can open up, live a life that makes us feel happy, maybe happier than ever. The only thing that is required from each one of us is opening up. The more we keep ourselves closed, life becomes stressful, and at times it may lead to stress, which is not what we want. So my advice as a wildflower would be, open up to your friends, open up to your family, open up to those masters, share your story, and have a beautiful life. Thank you, and back to you.
Wow. Thank you. And thankful for that bit of advice. You just segued into it so well. Now, I would like to hear from, I think we have Patricia. Again, Patricia, it says on the list that you're online. So, Patricia, can you come on screen? Am I reading it right? Patricia
Mansakan.
Mansakan, there you are. I hear your beautiful voice. Patricia, would you like to come online? Patricia, she is, well, at least we can hear you. So if you're okay talking without, there you are.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Welcome. So, Patricia, we have 4 more bits of advice from the wildflower. We have advice 1, 2, 6, or 7. Which one would you like? 1, 2, 6.
Like the 7 dwarfs, number 7.
Aha, just like me. Danny likes number 7. Oh, you picked a nice one. Oh, be wild and wonderful. That's number 7 advice. Be wild and wonderful. Patricia.
I think the best thing is just to introduce myself. I was born in France. My father is French. My mother is French, but she was born in Algeria. One of my grandfathers was Spanish, and one of my grandmothers was Italian. So there is a lot of wildness in me, I can assure you. We were talking earlier about opening up, speaking up, and enjoying life. And I think that here in Italy, and I live in Italy, let's not forget about it. So it's not like in Oregon, we have a lot of sun, a lot of wine, a lot of time outside to enjoy life with friends and speak up. Why am I wild? Because I was born in the countryside, and we had no television, or at least we had television. But we were only allowed to watch television on Wednesdays afternoon or during the weekend if it was raining. Because if the weather was nice, we were kindly sent outside by our parents, and we were doing wild stuff. We would jump over the fence of the neighbor and build some tree houses, which he would burn the day after. And then as a revenge, we would go and pick up all the flowers in his garden. So I have learned to be a wild person when I was a child. And I think now even my colleagues could tell you that I am still a wild person. And I'm weird. But I'm thankful for this, and I'm thankful for you to invite me tonight. Thank you.
Looks like we're all converging. Just like, wait. Everybody's coming into the same place. Thank you so much. Let me see. I think we have a guest, but I cannot see. There's a guest on the web. Pavan, yes? Am I pronouncing it right? Is it Pavan?
Yes, that's correct. Hi, everyone.
Perfect. Yes, hi, Pavan. Perfect. Can you come on screen? I hope you can. And if not, then your voice is very clear. So
Can you see me?
there you are. Welcome.
Hey, everyone.
Pavan. So we still have 3 bits of advice from the wildflower. We have 1, 2, and 6. Which one would you like? 1, 2, or 6?
Let's go for number 1.
Number 1.
Hoping it's easy.
Number 1. Ooh. Show your true colors. Number 1 says, show your true colors. Pavan, show your true colors.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Show your true colors. What a beautiful advice from a wildflower. Because if you think about it, wildflowers, there's no one color that you can associate with them. And I've been trying a bit of gardening recently in my little balcony here. And I'm always trying to construct something which is very vivid and something that's colorful. But it somehow seems to get very organized probably because I'm an accountant. And as I walk down to the station here, the DLR, so I live in the UK, and I walk around to the station, and I notice these wildflowers with all different vivid colors coming at you. And I think how beautiful if I can replicate the same effect in my garden. And I think even sometimes it's important to take this inspiration from wildflowers and bring it to your life. You don't necessarily have to portray to really fit in. You need to bring out yourself to be appreciated. if you think about all the popular people today, whether in the positive light or the negative light, think about Donald Trump. At the end of the day, whatever he's doing, be it positive or negative, as somebody would say, is that they're bringing out their true selves. And this is something that I'll encourage everybody to do, is to bring out your true self. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Wow, this wildflower is really smart. We're getting all of these great bits of advice. And I see Ola. Yes, perfect. We have Ola. So Ola, we have 2 bits of advice left from the wildflower. We have either advice 2 or 6. Which one would you like?
I'll go for 6, please.
6. Okay. And 6. Ooh. Wow. It's okay to be a late bloomer. The wildflower says it's okay to be a late bloomer. Let's hear from Ola.
Right. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And good morning, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. It's okay to be a late bloomer. I found that out recently, although I don't believe my parents believed it. Just like Patricia, who spoke earlier, my family is from Nigeria. I lived in Nigeria for some time. And in Nigeria, the education system is not like the UK where I currently live. So you can be in a class which is not, you will be in the same class with people who are different age groups. So all along, when I was in primary school and secondary school, I was a year earlier or 2 years earlier. So I was very young. I think my parents just wanted to rush me through education and get me out of the house quickly. But so recently I went back to school. I went back to do a postgraduate degree, and I found out that I was the oldest person there in the class, on the course. And the experience was so different to when I was in secondary school, when I was the youngest person, because now what was happening was people were looking up to me because of my assumed life experience. They think, oh, he's so old, he must know so much about life. Let's ask him to answer that question. Let's ask him to answer this question. And I felt a little bit like a guru in the class. And because it was so different, I felt, oh, I'm actually enjoying this more than when I was in primary school and people were treating me like a little kid. They were not taking me seriously. So yes, I do agree that it's okay to be a late bloomer sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we just have the number 2 advice, and let me see. I'm trying. We had another guest, but I think he or she left. Am I missing anyone? Oh, Peter. Is that? Oh no. Okay, no. It's is there anybody that I have not called? Speak up or forever hold your peace.
I think it is time now to go to evaluating Svetlana.
Okay, let's do
Thank
that.
You so much for the wonderful table topics. Thank you. Gerard, is up to you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and more importantly, Svetlana. A terrific speech. And just to go briefly into the objectives of the speech was to tell a personal story and to develop the plot and the characters. And I think you absolutely nailed your story. You had everything that the objectives required. I really liked the way from the beginning you actually reached all of us, but you actually pulled us all into your living room. And your use of props was terrific. We all felt really comfortable with your tea, your teapot, your tea, your favorite things like tea and mint. But you opened with a triad and you gave examples to support all those things. And from your points in your story, you developed on top of that a couple of different messages. But one I took away was that if you have anything overbearing, that you have a grudge or something, that's on your mind, that just to let it all go. And we saw that with your character, I think you said Daniela, but about the gallstones, and a beautiful method of just supporting that story, to drop stones in the river and let it all go. Let the money worries go and let it all off your mind. So I really related to that. There was also wonderful use of imagery and vividness. I could picture everything you said, and it was completely personal. I can't think of anything that was plagiarism. It was all from your own mind, your own experiences, which I really loved. One little recommendation would just be at the end, just to support your story, just to give it a clearer message, and just maybe to reiterate the point of the whole story. But I really love your storytelling. It's obvious that Doug Littman's workshop worked wonders for you, and well done. And just to summarize, keep going. You're a wonderful storyteller, Svetlana, and you bring great stories of your culture. And if just to recap, just to reiterate at the end the messages that you want to portray, so we all leave with that clear in our head. So well done, Svetlana.
Thank you. It is now time for our grammarian report. William?
Yes, I'm here. Only two of us used the word of the day, myself and our table topics master. We were the only two to use the word of the day, but that's okay. If I come back again, if I visit again, I'll come up with a more useful word.
Brilliant actually used the word of the day.
Yeah. So I give it back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. So that concludes the grammarian report then. Julie, can you give us explaining how long we did our speakers, evaluators?
Yes, I'm actually going to attempt to just look at the camera. And does it look as though I'm looking at you?
Yes.
Is that better?
Very well.
Okay. So I'm very thankful for being here. I think it's amazing that we're all over the world, and we're being brought together again this morning. It's fantastic. Timing, they say, is everything. The speeches, Masako was 5 minutes and 20 seconds. So I personally would have liked a little bit more, because it's so lovely to hear you speaking, Masako, and so it was obviously within time, but it would just be so great to hear you for a little bit longer. Oregano. Did you hear me, Svetlana? Oregano. That was 7 minutes and 20 seconds. So you were in time, and it was lovely to hear you for that length of time. It's really great. Brian, you also spoke for a slightly shorter amount of time, 5 minutes and 46 seconds. I was very thankful to hear about your story, actually, at Chester Zoo. I thought that was a fantastic story, really lovely. We're on to now the evaluators. Mathilde, you spoke for 2 minutes and 24 seconds. So that was a really good evaluation. Zaldi, again, 2 minutes and 53 seconds. And Geroid, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So all three evaluations were within good time, because obviously we need to within 3 minutes. So that was really good. Michelle initially spoke, our fantastic table topics master. As you get to know me a bit better, you'll know my love and passion for flowers in the garden. So it was really lovely table topics, and she spoke for 50 seconds. Each of the people who Michelle asked to speak, William, you spoke for 1 minute and 26 seconds. George, 1 minute and 50 seconds. Brilliant. Is it Brilliant? Is that how you pronounce it? Yep.
Yes.
Great. 1 minute and 52 seconds. Perhaps you'd like to tell us a story about your name one day. I think that's a brilliant name.
Thank you so much.
Very thankful for having you here. I've used the word of the day. Patricia, you spoke for 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And Van, you were 1 minute and 50 seconds. And finally, last but not least, Paula, 1 minute and 58 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now it is my pleasure to present our fellow online member from the online presenters and all the way from Australia. There is afternoon and it seems a nice weather outside. He's our general evaluator today. Up to you, Graham.
Thank you, Julie. Fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting me along to be a general evaluator today. It has been, I have to say, a great meeting. I am thankful that I have been here. I'm going to go through the various people who require or who I'd like to give evaluation. I assume that everybody here is Toastmaster, or at least has had experience with Toastmasters, so I'm not going to go through why evaluation is so important. We all know that that's the keystone to this organisation. But anyway, Mathilde's evaluation today of Misako. Timing was excellent. Mathilde used some excellent gestures during her presentation. Her use of her body language was really good. She was very supportive in her presentation as well, and she pointed to some really nice points about Misako's speech. The foot in the wall, for example, she pointed to that and pointed to how effective that was in making us all feel with Misako. One thing that I would observe for Mathilde, the lighting in your room wasn't great today, Mathilde. You actually appeared to be quite dark. And if we're going to be presenting online, which is obviously what we're doing, that's the sort of thing we need to do. But I would also suggest that Mathilde look for specific advice rather than just general, hey, you did this well, but you might like to pick that. One of the areas where, for example, Mathilde did give specific advice when she pointed out that if we move our hands too fast in this sort of environment, we get that pixelation, and she quite effectively pointed to that and also pointed out how humorous the speech was without being a series of jokes. So well done there. Gerald, I thought your evaluation was really good. You gave good objectives. In fact, you were the only person who mentioned what the objectives of the speeches were tonight, and I commend you on that. Good to pick up on the use of triads and messages. All of Gerald's presentation, though, was in the first person. It was all about you, all about you, all about you. And evaluation should be a teaching moment for all of us. So try to go from first person to third person, Gerald, and you'll find that makes a much more effective evaluation. Zaldi explained that there was a new form that he was using, but didn't actually tell us what the form involved. And I know that the timing was difficult, but given that we were talking about a new style of evaluation, that might have been useful, but you pointed to the storytelling, which was an essential part of this. I commend you on your evaluation. In fact, I commend all of the evaluators tonight. The topics, I thought Michelle did an excellent topic session. I don't use the word excellent all that often, but it really was that word beautifully well, and every topics presenter took the story and ran with it magnificently. I couldn't, for example, pick a best topics presenter tonight because they were all so well done. Overall, the meeting, it began on time. It started with a good quote. What I would suggest, some advice to the club, if I may, is if you put together a little 2-minute video on how to get the webcam working, how to get the audio working, how to turn yourself on and off so that you don't get people's voices coming up at random through the meeting. If you were to put together a little 2 or 3 minute video and then send it out to everybody who you're inviting to a meeting, they could watch that beforehand. They don't have to go through all of that sort of stuff in the beginning of the meeting. So it just cleans it up a little. I commend our Toastmaster tonight, Julie. Julie was warm, she was friendly, she was effusive, she kept us on time pretty much all the way through. I'm very thankful to be part of this meeting. A suggestion for you, though, if I can, Julie, and this is something that I would observe also for the Topics Master. You didn't actually tell us what the times were for most of the things that we had to do tonight. Now, we had a great timekeeper who was holding up a red top pen, which means I should shut up. But as Toastmaster, as Topics Master, as presenter, we're supposed to let our members know about those sorts of things. Having said that, I really enjoyed the meeting. I thank you for inviting me. I'd like to come back.
Come back.
Madam Toastmaster.
And I hope you will become our member, because it's such a good time for you. I would like to know, before I let you go, at least disappear from the screen, if you are an online presenters. Did you not produce such a video you are speaking about?
The Online Presenters Toastmasters Club has a little 2 or 3 minute presentation which we begin each meeting with that goes through all that sort of stuff. I'm suggesting.
Could you ask them? Could you ask them if we can use it?
Or I can put something together for you, because it uses different software to this. If you like, I'll try and put something together using GoToMeeting. I'll send it to the executive. You can look at it. If you think it's worthwhile, send it out to your guests. You happy to do that?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Not for yet. That is already helping. Awesome.
We had Emma promising us to do something like that. I think 2 or 3 months ago, and
it's okay.
We didn't have yet, so it would be very good to have one for you. But just don't remember that some of us is PC, some of us is Mac, which is not exactly the same, but similar.
Things are going to look a little different. I will access the Macs that I have at work and try and put together.
Thank you.
And just before I go,
yes,
I have the District 69 conference is on this weekend. In fact, tomorrow morning I'll be driving off to that. It's about 4 hours away from here. I have to say, this meeting has innovated me for that conference more than I could possibly tell you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to give back the meeting to our presidents, who will welcome the guests also and tell us everything new about our club. But first, before I go, excuse me, I would just like to thank you again, because our 2 new members, George and Julie New, really did wonderful today. They have wonderful screen presence, and I really appreciate. And you see, you nothing to fear. And next time you can speak even. Give a speech.
If you say so, Julie, nothing to fear. I did feel better today, actually, I must say. Thank you very much. No, don't be off. Nobody be off, please. All of you, come online.
Okay, we're back.
I absolutely enjoyed how the
So one more play, yeah.
There you go.
I want to thank Julie for her excellent Toastmaster function today. She's indeed very supportive, and please don't leave us, because I might get something. And thank you very much, Michelle, for your absolutely wonderful flower thing with the table topics, and thank you, Graham, for coming and doing such an excellent general evaluation. George, I can't thank you more as well, but I would like to listen to our guests today and have their feedback of today's meeting. Olaf, it's my absolute pleasure to greet you today
because I know you. You are, in my opinion, you are a professional speaker. And one day I'd like to invite you to our educational party as a trainer.
That would be a pleasure.
Yes. Sure.
That would be a pleasure. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. It's the very first time in a long time I've used webcam to speak online. So I don't know if I'm actually staring, making eye contact with you people or not.
We don't see you.
Oh, you can't even see me. Oh, so ignore that last sentence. So it's been a pleasure.
So I guess you liked the meeting and you'll be back.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you. Pavan, give us your feedback of today's meeting, where we can improve and what you liked about it.
First of all, thank you everybody for having me here today. I really enjoyed today's meeting, and I'm completely energized, just like Graham said. It's kind of like given me a big, buzz of energy for the rest of the day. In terms of feedback, I don't have anything to. I completely enjoyed it. I'm not sure of anything that I would do differently. So well done to the organizers, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Pavan. We hope to see you again.
Sure.
William Thomas, what did you make of today's meeting? Please share.
I loved it from beginning to end. My emotions were up and down. You guys had me going every which way. Especially you, Madam President, with your story. I found it funny, humorous. I have no doubt that you will be a humorous champion. And I wish you good luck on that. And I love the other speeches as well. All of you have made me feel very welcome, and I will be coming back again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we're done listening to our guests, but I always want to hear from our own members what you liked and how today's meeting is different from other meetings. Yes. George, as a very, very fresh member, would you like to state how this meeting is different from other meetings that you have already attended with us?
Well, sure. I have been a Toastmaster since way back in 1989 when my daughter and I joined together. And I think I'll be probably doing my icebreaker speech about my daughter and I and our first experience with Toastmasters. Our club is called Yawn Patrol, which means it starts at 6:15 in the morning. And we usually have about 12 to 15 people in the meeting. So there's very much like our startup of this meeting in which everybody kind of signs in and finds out what's going on and if they have any technical issues or anything like that, or if somebody has to take on a new role that they didn't expect to have to take on. So we kind of do that. And like this club, we try very hard to start on time and launch the meeting at the right time. Of course, it's very important to have a great Toastmaster, which we had tonight, who's very accomplished and experienced and able to keep things moving along. It's a very rare meeting when there's not a surprise of some kind. Someone who is supposed to give a speech or provide some other role will not show up, and there's always a moment when everyone has to scramble around and say, well, who's going to do that? And it was handled very well tonight. People jumped in and took charge and did things. It's always great to have a good table topics, because that's where the people who've been sitting quietly all night, like me, and watching get put on the spot. It's a lot of fun. And we had a great time tonight, and I really appreciated that. So I think that this is a great club, and I'm really enjoying being a member. It looks like we have some great storytellers, and I've already learned a lot. The wonderful comments from Graham in terms of his analysis of the meeting, talking as a person who hasn't been to the meeting, but just sort of what his perspective is as a very experienced Toastmaster, was very helpful, and especially the comments about the Toastmaster and the critical role that person plays really in keeping the meeting going and responding to issues. So I had some good tutoring tonight, which I very much appreciated.
Thank you, George. In this club, we truly believe that, it's a party, and like any other party, if you participate, you will enjoy it. So participation is key to every meeting and every participant. We would like to hear more feedback, but I want to give time to Julie as our VPE to do some forward planning. And then if we have a few more minutes, I would love to listen to other feedback as well.
Thank you. I would like very much George, who didn't give his icebreaker for us. Icebreaker in storytelling, Witty Storytellers, can be from any manual, just it has to be about you, so we get to know you better. And I hope that perhaps in May you will be ready to give us your own icebreaker. Please let me know. And the same thing for Julie New. I think now you will be more confident to give your icebreaker again and tell us. It has to be at least 4 minutes. It can be 7, depending on the what you use. It doesn't have to be a CC manual. It can be from any manual. Just tell something about you. Like we all told the beginning when we arrived to Storytellers. And that you can even look at our old videos and see about us. I would like all those who were evaluating also to become speakers, and those who were speakers to become evaluators, and we will have wonderful meetings. I don't know exactly yet who will be in the second meeting of May, because we have 2 people who are promising us, but we will have a full and interesting meeting again. And I finished for the moment my pitch.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Julie. I want to stay to Misako because she's still very, very new member, and I'm very happy that Witty Storytellers will give you the possibility and the opportunity to be you, just like with all of us. This is why we are here. As Julie says, dig deep to your funny bone. That's where we can connect. That's where we can connect if we reveal ourselves. So thank you. And what do you think of today's?
As always, I loved it so much, and I love it too much, and I must click now.
And we love you. We love you.
Whereabouts in the Northwest are you from, Sako?
In 4 minutes, I will.
Whereabouts in the Northwest are you from?
I'm in Washington State.
Quite Portland, but well, keep Washington weird as well as Portland then.
In 4 minutes, I will close the recording, and then we can have after party.
Right. Why I love Toastmasters? Because Toastmasters is a company of mutual admiration. Like, you lift yourself up, you lift other people up, and it's perfectly within the protocol. If you want to give a advice, this is exactly advice. When you build other speakers, and this also gives you the credit as the evaluator. So indeed, I think by this, Toastmasters teaches us, we learn how to be leaders, how to be good listeners, how to be, not just how to be good people, but reveal our goodness in us and enjoy it. If anybody wants to say something, please do so. But otherwise, I think, yes, please, Brian.
Today I had a different experience at our in-person online club, Royal Roads. We actually had some people in the room we meet in, and two other people were in the same room in another town, and they joined in the meeting. And there wasn't very many of us there, but we all felt we had a great time, and we're trying to rebuild that club. And the table topics in that particular case was held by somebody online. And she took the opportunity to get some planning out of us on how we think we can make the club come back to life. So that was a new experience. And this is my third meeting of the day, too, by the way.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, please, Graham.
I was just going to ask Brian, can I ask how that went? Because that's one of the things that I'm looking at for a couple of clubs that I'm involved in, trying to do a blended clicks and bricks. So did that work? Were there...
Oh, yes. Two of the people came in. We had a lady come in, and she was going to be she is going to be a coach. She wants us to appoint her right now. And she was, when she spoke to the president said they were concerned about people being in a room together and not having anybody online. But after the meeting was over, the excitement was there. The people blended in nicely online. And in this particular case, I just used my laptop and I swung my laptop around, following the speakers as they spoke, and only used the screen on the laptop. We have other equipment in the room, but that was appropriate for that particular small group of people. We've been pioneering it at Royal Roads now for over a year, and it's finally starting to come together. There is a different dynamic when you have people in a room and people online, and you need more than just one webcam, really, to do it properly.
And Zaldi, you can also talk us about your experience. You have also a group which meets together and admit online also. Are you still here, Zaldi?
Maybe he went for breakfast.
No, he said it was lunchtime where he is.
Oh, that's right. He hadn't had his lunch.
I'm going to head out of here and do dinner myself. Listen, thank you everybody for having me here today. It's been great. Brian, I'll be in touch with you because I want to figure out how to do this properly. I'd like to come back again as a guest and perhaps a member. I mean, I'm a member of 4 clubs now, so it's a bit difficult to justify all the fees. But I'll certainly put together the video for you, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you.